What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Down Unders with my man Brody. Brody, how you feeling, my brother? How you feeling after the weekend with the doggies getting another victory there at Belmore? What are you feeling,
bro?
Another
good dub, brother. Winners are grinners. Winners are grinners.
No game song on today? No doggy song playing today, or?
Nah. I don't want to rub it any more salt into the wars. You know, it's been a tough week for you boys, so I don't want to add insult to injury. But I'm sure all you boys will jump on the doggies bandwagon for the finals.
I'm sure everyone in the chat will jump on the doggies bandwagon. We'll run this one together, but definitely a massive chance for you guys getting top 4 this year, and we're going to be definitely talking about that a little bit, especially, you know, yous versus, you know, the Sharkies, the Cowboys, who will get that top 4 finish this year. But first of all, obviously the biggest news after the week here, as you said, a very disappointing year with the Warriors, but it gets a little bit more disappointing. Shaun Johnson obviously retiring. Crazy career this man's had, bro. Like, your thoughts on Shawnee, because, you know, I've given away pretty much all of my thoughts over the week, as much as I can really give, but your thoughts on Shaun Johnson, my brother?
Yeah, it's tough, man. You would have liked to see him, you know, potentially win that Daily M medal last year, go deep into the finals with the Wars, if not take it out and maybe retire on that note. And I guess that's why he pushed it another season, is because, you know, he didn't get any of those rewards that he probably deserved last year. You know, he tried to extend that to this year, and well, the Broncos are another team that's proving how hard it is to have 2 good years in a row. So yeah, look, Shawnee, man, he's been great throughout his whole career. Yeah, absolutely outstanding. And no matter what club he's played at, no matter what team he's had around him, Shawnee's always been a key man of any team he's been in. So yeah, what he's done with New Zealand as well, in the test games, is outstanding, brother. So yeah, look, it is sad, but you know, he's a wise man. Old Shawnee, he's probably making the right call. He's probably feeling that he can't put in that 100% that he wants to anymore. The game's kind of unfortunately left him behind a little bit with how quick it is now and physical it can be. So yeah, good on Shawnee, man, on the career he's had. So he'll definitely be in the Hall of Fame eventually. I do believe so.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Hopefully he'll get there. And, like, obviously one of the best Warriors that we've ever had, and I would say one of the best Kiwi halfbacks, you know, in the league at the moment. I'll put him up there with obviously Stacey Jones, Benji Marshall, the likes of those guys. Jerome Hughes has a chance to be in that conversation as well, or possibly already is in that conversation right now. But I think it's probably the best thing for Shaun Johnson and the Warriors. Like, it's a weird one like that. I feel like obviously Shawnee, I think it's the best thing for his health, you know, into the future. Like, you're playing through injuries week in, week out. You know, he's got a young family. He's starting a new podcast. There's a lot of things going on in his outside life. Probably good to, you know, have him focus on those now. And then obviously with the Warriors, I feel like obviously been fairly disappointed this year. And when we don't have our best halfback that's ready, fit and healthy and ready to go, it showed throughout the season how up and down we are when we have someone in and out next week, a week out. We just can't build combinations. So it's probably you know, it's a blessing and a curse. You know, obviously it really, really hurts early on, but you know, it'd probably be the best for both, you know, us and Shaun Johnson. But you got any off of memory? I know I put you on the spot here, so like it's really tough, like just on memory. But like, you got your favorite Shaun Johnson moment? Do you have like a moment that pops in your mind when I say Shaun Johnson?
Look, other than the touch highlights that every, you know, high school boy probably watched coming through back in the day, you know, the 2013s, 2012s, watching those touch highlights. Probably that try that he set up against Melbourne. I'm pretty sure it was an Anzac Day test where he drifted across field probably 30 odd meters and fooled about 5 defenders and set up that beautiful try. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah, it was the one that got us into the semi-finals. I'm pretty sure it was to beat Melbourne. We got in the semis, I'm pretty sure, that year. But that was an incredible try. That was incredible.
Yeah, it'd probably be that moment that makes you think of Shaun Johnson, other than his, you know, touch highlights, those ones for sure.
But the Broncos try too, bro. We're going to Suncorp this weekend, obviously, so really excited to see that. I don't think the new Shaun Johnson could do that again, but that Broncos try, that freakish moments throughout his whole career, man. Like, I could go on day after day about my thoughts around Shaun Johnson, but yeah. Oh, actually, before we go through to the next topic, like, remember those days? Legit, we're sitting there, like, you know, sport for school and stuff, sport and rec, sitting in the corner, getting on the computers, you know, getting through our super coaches and that, and then going through just like highlights of the weekend, Shaun Johnson highlights, you know, Ben Barber highlights, like just used to be the days, bro. Like, you know, let him know, like, you know, we're sitting in the corner, guys, just going on the computers and just like, fuck schoolwork. Let's just watch these guys just absolutely kill it on a football field, eh? The memories, bro, the memories.
The old Benny Barber highlights, bro, were unreal. That 2012 season. Oh, man. Look, would you rather Shaun Johnson in his best season or Ben Barber 2012?
Oh, don't do this to me. You know,
come on, mate. Come on.
I'm going Shaun Johnson in his best season because Golden Boot winner, bro, what he did on that, like, you know, the Kiwis game, the sidestep to win it over England in that series, like, I got to go Shaunie, but that's just like rosy-colored glasses. That Ben Barber solo season, that Dally M season is probably one of the best.
Didn't get one of those, eh?
Oh, he should have, and he he should have, and he should have. Oh, bro, but that Ben Barber season though, that's definitely up there for one of the best individual seasons of all time, right? Like, remember, just like legit every highlight every weekend, like would come into like school and be like, "Did you see this try? All right, let's watch it right now, bro." Full field tries. He did a couple on us. He did like, you know, a couple on Melbourne. Like, remember those times? Like, just a complete freak of nature, old Benny Barber. But yeah, Shaunie, bro, that sucks, man. It's the farewell tour now. On the way out, we got 4 games left. You know, the Dolphins game is up next. So, guys, if you're coming out to Suncorp or whatever, and you know, come to watch, you see me and Brody out there, come say hello. We obviously love a good chat. And Shaunie, if you're watching this, you're probably not watching this, bro, but you know, come sign some stuff for the boy. So
wishful thinking.
Wishful thinking, bro. Wishful thinking. But let's get through some other big news. Obviously, the other massive news I want to get and talk to you about. Obviously, the Hall of Fame class has been named, and we got a couple of coaches. You know, started the Hall of Fame class. So we got Wayne Bennett and Jack Gibson. Obviously, Jack Gibson was a little bit before our time, but we've heard all the stories around Jack Gibson, what he did for the Parramatta Eels, like one of the greatest coaches before, you know, the like the new era. And then we're talking probably about the greatest coach in at least the new era at the moment, or definitely, you know, there's an argument for that with Wayne Bennett. Your thoughts on Wayne Bennett getting the Hall of Fame, and also, you know, Jack Gibson, your thoughts around that too?
Yeah, look, I don't know too much about old Jack Gibson, but it's a great honor, I guess. You know, he probably did so many good things that to all the older boys, like, you know, my dad's generation thought that he was the it coach. But for us, yeah, it's got to be Wayne Bennett. He's probably the greatest coach of all time. It's kind of hard to argue with that. Whatever club he touches, you know, the worst Queensland side ever, got the job done. You know, just the stats stack up for him, man. It's an honor for old Wayne Bennett, man. He's well deserved as well. And it wouldn't surprise me if he takes the Rabbits to the grand final next year, man. He's just got that influence over his players. No matter whatever team he's got in front of him, man, he makes something out of it. So, yeah, well deserved. Unreal.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, you know, we even spoke about it this year, like the things that he's doing for the Dolphins. You know, he set up the Dolphins from their first time in league, you know, almost got into a top 8 finish last year. Injuries were the really thing that held them back, you know, due to their depth and stuff like that. This year, they're slightly falling out of the 8 at the moment, but they're still holding up some really good performances. So talk about over the weekend, like 40-34 against the Roosters. But the Dolphins came into the game with a lot of, you know, key outs and stuff. And even during the game, you know, Osako and all that getting injured, you know, people had to step up in multiple different positions. Like, it just shows how good of a coach he is there with the Dolphins. But, you know, on a side piece, he's also got the Rabbitohs on the call and saying, like, you know, this player here, what's going on there. So very impressive, bro. Very impressive. But your thoughts obviously on the Dolphins, again, letting a game slip here, 40-34. Like, do you see them like maybe continuing to slip out of this 8? Do you see the Dragons being the one to really come home for the top 8 finish? Like, the Dragons seem to be the one there right now. What's your thoughts around that at the moment?
Well, the Dragons ain't getting a win this weekend, so that'll, you know, balance that back out. It's whether you guys beat the Dolphins or not, I guess. So, look, yeah, the Dolphins, man, look, they already had a tough run home as it was, let alone losing Jeremy Marshall-King. We touched on that last week, on how big of an impact he has on that team. Not so much the fact that, you know, Max Platt's doing a bad job, but just how we talked about how those two together add so much to their defense structure through the middle. You know, Plaffy playing the big minutes at lock instead of playing the big minutes at hooker. So I think the Dolphins are just probably running out a bit of a firepower. Pangai Jr.'s really actually been pretty good for them. He got ruled out on the weekend. So that was a bit of a miss against a strong pack like the Roosters. But yeah, I think the Dolphins will continue to slide out of the 8, especially if they do lose this week to you guys, which I think, you know, you guys have got a really good chance. Surely you guys turn up at Suncorp as you always do. With Shaun, he's announcing his retirement. I think you guys be ready to fire and play for him. But the Roosters, man, that's pretty disappointing of them to leak as many points as they did. With the team they have on paper, man, they shouldn't be doing that. So, yeah, they won, but, you know, that's not a good look. 40 to 30, 34. That's man.
Against a side, as we just touched on, like the amount of outs there, obviously missing Jeremy Marshall-King, who's so vital to their attack. Like, you know, Tavita Pengai Jr., I agree with you. I think he's actually been really, really solid for the Dolphins there too. And the Roosters really like allowed 34 points to be scored. And I think there was a moment there where the Dolphins looked like they had the momentum to almost come over the top of the Roosters. Just a couple of things that kind of went the Roosters' way that ended up, you know, kind of sealing the game for them. But I don't know, they're so up and down, the Roosters, and we've spoken about this before, like our thoughts around them, and like, you know, them as top 4, but they should be leading the comp, like with the team that they have on paper. And even when they have outs, they have guys that are just going to fill in those spots, and like Joey Manu just comes back, and that's ups the level of that team significantly. Like, your thoughts around them at the moment? Obviously they still can keep getting wins, coming up against they got the bye this week, so that, you know, they another week off, another couple of points. But are you seeing them being a premiership threat this year, or are you still kind of waiting to see really your thoughts around the Roosters at the moment?
I won't consider them a defensive threat until they tidy up their defense. You know, come finals, the amount of points that are scored gets, you know, slimmed up a lot. And if you don't fix your defense come final time, you will lose the game. Unfortunately, you lose momentum. You don't get as many line breaks. You don't get as many bounce of the ball that the Roosters have been getting to score 40 points, you know. It's about the points you defend more so than the points you can score. I mean, like, when's the last time you can think that Penrith had somebody put 34 points on them?
Yeah, nah.
You can't, right? Like, when's the last time? Oh, well, Melbourne actually this year has actually leaked a few more points than they normally do as well. But, you know, that defensively sound systems, they're the ones that are going to go a lot better in the finals. Yes, the Roosters can score a lot of points and blow you off the park. But, you know, if you get the first trial two on the Roosters, you know that they're going to just go to shit. You know, there's too many superstars in their team to the point where they're just waiting for somebody else to do something. Whereas you got teams, unfortunately, not unfortunately, like the Doggies that just work. They show up, they work. It's next man up. Same with Melbourne. Same with Penrith. They got players out. The next guy comes in, takes over. So the Roosters might have that bad situation of too many superstars, and they're sitting back going, you know, we've got this. We're going to win the game. He's doing his job. He's going to score his 3 tries. They're not showing up every play, and to get 34 points scored on you. I know the Dolphins have got a lot of points in them, but man, they need to tidy that up before they think they go deep into the finals this year. I think at this stage, I still take Penrith over the Roosters.
Yeah, you still think Penrith will probably be the ones to take this one out? Like, Melbourne Storm seem to be around about there. Is there any like smokies? Obviously the Doggies and stuff, but would you say that like Penrith is probably the sure favourites at the moment still?
I think you have to go with either Penrith or Melbourne. Melbourne are only just finding their groove still. I know they had a loss on the weekend, a close one. But, you know, Bellamy's going to have them fired up, and they'll put a cricket score on the Rabbits this week. But, you know, Munster, Pappy, Grant and Hughes have probably played 3 games together this whole season. So if they stick strong, injury-free this back end of the season, I think Melbourne will be tough come finals time. And then, you know, the Cowboys are a bit like the Roosters for me. They can score a lot of points, but they leak too many points. So obviously I'd like the Doggies to go really deep into the finals. I don't see the Sharks going too deep into the finals. I think, it's either, you know, Panthers or Storm for me at this stage.
Yeah, we'll may as well touch on the Doggies, bro. 22-18 over the Raiders, like a really good victory, as in like me and you have spoken about, like the Raiders seem to be a bogey side for you at the moment. And it's just a good time that you guys get over the Raiders, get over that little hump after earlier on this year. Obviously the Raiders getting that comeback victory against you guys at Magic Round. Getting it done at Belmore, and all the fans that are out there, like the scenes were absolutely crazy. Your thoughts on like your odds maybe for top 4 finish, and is there anything you're not liking about the Doggies currently right now, or are you kind of just really enjoying the ride of the Dogs, hopefully running into the finals, hopefully a top 4 finish?
The top 4 finish I'm not too stressed about, as long as we make that 8. You know, there's still a chance we can fall out of the 8 as well. So I think as long as we, you know, get that 5th, 6th, get a home final, I'll be happy with that. I'd love to get fourth, and I think Cronulla might be on the slide with the news that Trindle's out. They're playing Blakey Brayley at half this week, so that's going to be big for them. With the form that the Titans are in, good chance that they roll them. The Cowboys coming home strong. But for the Doggies, man, look, I couldn't be happy with how they're playing. I had those bit of worries 2 weeks ago when we went down to the Cowboys. We've since, took our attack up another gear. I couldn't be more happy with that, to be honest, man. It's just beautiful to see. The scenes at Belmore were unreal. So, and I'll be definitely wearing my Doggies jersey on Sunday, even though it's Suncorp. I own that place at the moment. Whether I wear my Blues jersey, my Doggies jersey, I can wear whatever jersey I want there. I own Suncorp this week.
I love to hear it.
Broncos I love to hear it. But talk shit. Warriors don't get to talk shit. Queensland don't get to talk shit.
I love to hear it, bro, because it's been a long time coming. But how quickly has expectations probably grown around your side? I think it's very similar to what I felt like with us, obviously last year. The year before that, we had one of our worst, if not our worst, season in in the NRL. I'm pretty sure we end up finishing second last a couple of years ago. The last year of that COVID year, we came back home for last year, and we had the performances that we did, got top four, and the expectation that got put upon us from that really good period there, which I thought that we were amazing last year. But how quickly the expectations turned. And then with the Dogs this year, it's very, very similar. To start off this year, I probably think that you would probably be your expectation was just get out of that bottom four sort of race and start building to become a top 8 team in the future. Just sit around the top 8. But where it's come all the way to, you guys are fighting for, I keep, talking about it. I know you're not too worried about getting top 4, but you are fighting for a top 4 positioning. That's incredible. I know the expectation has probably grown now to be all right, I want to see more. I want us to get there, but also think of the short time period that you guys went from. You were second last year, worst defensive year that you've had as a Doggies unit, and you've completely turned it around to one of your better defensive teams that you've had in a long time, and also fighting for a top 4 finish. The expectations, what are you thinking? How quickly that changes, eh?
Yeah, literally. Everyone, if your team gets knocked out, basically, Doggies are going to be a team you cheer for. You go for that underdog team, the ones that have come from the slums last year, right up to making the finals. It happened with the Warriors last year. You're exactly right, man. As soon as, my team was gone, I was like, bang, I want the Warriors to win. I want the Warriors to take this comp out. It's just that feeling you get around the club, the culture, and how hard you see they have worked, and to get where they are now. But yeah, for the Doggies, man, they must be fit, because what I've noticed the last 3-4 weeks, probably even longer, they've been playing with 16, bro. They're not using Hip Boy at all, really. He played, I think, 22 minutes 2 or 3 games ago. Other than that, bro, they've been just running with the 16 and leaving that one bench player not playing any minutes. So they really back their fitness and their structure. And man, it's great to see. Josh Curran's been outstanding for us, filling into any role he really could. I think he might be out this week, which is a bit of a worry. But next man up. It's just the mentality the Doggies have, and it's a great mentality to have. You can tell it's really come from that Penrith system, just like you guys with Webby. Same with us with Seraldo. So I'm excited, man. Very excited.
So good to see, and it's a mad blessing that it's both our teams that are going through this. I know we've had a little bit of a down year this year, but the positive of last year, and I still see the positives around our club right now, even in down form, and then the positive with you guys this year is just incredible to see, and it's so good to see both our clubs thriving in the modern day rugby league right now. But lastly, to finish off, put a bow on this top 4 sort of chat. You did say the Sharkies were a team that you think they're going to be slipping, especially with Trindle out. I agree, definitely. Trindle's going to be a big loss for them. Even though I think Atkinson can step up, I don't know if you can do it consistently to run it all the way home. Your biggest threat for your top 4 finish here. So obviously I got you guys in there. We got the Cowboys. I don't know if Manly are too far out. I think Manly's still got a slight opportunity, but where's who you reckon is your biggest threat for the top 4 if you were thinking top 4 finish this year?
I think probably the Cowboys, to be honest. They don't leave Queensland too much in their last few games, and they do have a bye still up their sleeve. So I reckon it does come down to who wins this weekend. If Sharks have a loss, we get a dub. Cowboys either get a win or a loss. I think this weekend will kind of make that picture a little bit more clear. I think there's some big games there with the Sharks, Titans, Cowboys, Broncos, Bulldogs, Dragons, and I think Manly's got the Raiders in Canberra. They'll be looking to bounce back to stay in that top 8 contention. So I think this weekend the picture will be a bit more clear on who's going to grab that 4th spot. But I do see the Sharkies losing, so I think it'll be up for grabs out of the Doggies or the Cowboys.
Yeah, and it's major, bro, because as you just touched on, I think this game this weekend, the Cowboys versus the Broncos at, Townsville is such a massive game for the Cowboys for that run to the top 4. But touching on the side they're versing, the Broncos, obviously a disappointing loss over the weekend to the Titans, 46-18. That is 2 weeks in a row they've conceded over 40 points, the Broncos, on a major slide outside. Now, the one team that I'm looking at the moment, looking over the shoulder and going, well, they made a grand final last year and they're falling all the way out as well. So, what's going on at the Broncos? Do you reckon it's the hype they've got overhyped? They're bought into the hype, not working hard enough. Do you reckon it's a little bit to do with, Kevy Walters? As I've touched on earlier, I think a little bit it's the game plan that they run with doesn't really suit them when they have a lot of injuries out, but they've got boys back now. So what do you reckon's going on there? Losing becomes a habit sometimes. Do you reckon it could be that a little bit?
I don't know. I think it's momentum. I think, the season's not going the way they wanted. I reckon a few guys have probably already chucked it in, a few weeks ago and said, look, the season's gone. I don't really care. And then, the injuries, man, when it rains, it pours. It just gets worse and worse and worse for them. You can see that there's frustration there from a couple of plays on the weekend. But, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's definitely really hard to back up a good season. You guys are struggling with the same thing. But no one's struggling more than the Broncos from the last season that they had. So, they're all still fairly young group of guys. So I dare say that they will be back next season, but I think they just got to work harder. They can't rest on their morals the last season. I think that's happened a little bit, maybe buying into the hype too much and the cameras instead of just getting down and playing hard footy.
Yeah, 100%. Very similar to kind of what might be happening with us as well. I understand that. I keep bringing up that we've had a lot of injuries this year that have hampered a lot of combinations, cohesion, that sort of stuff that I felt like we've lost from last year. But also, there was a big hype that was stowed upon us, after the year that we had last year, that we added 2 of us to share, Kurt Catewell, very, very big experienced players that we thought were going to take us to another level at least. And obviously it didn't pan out that way. The expectations are just eating us alive. And I think with the Broncos, I think their heart's been broken because they had that really nice win against the Newcastle Knights and everyone was like, here we go. This is where we're thinking that their run home's coming. And you guys broke their hearts. You did it at Suncorp Stadium in front of their own fan base. You were up and down Caxton Street, the Doggies fans going absolutely mental. You put 40 points on the Broncos and, thinking that they were probably going to come down to the Gold Coast and probably replicate it again, but not, as you said, just thinking they could just turn up and just turn it on. It just doesn't happen that way. I think you got to work twice as hard. So it's really disappointing to see. But again, you're 100% correct. They're really young. They just need to fix it and tweak a couple of things and they'll be back in that sort of run again. It's just a consistent theme seems to be for the last couple of seasons of teams, peaking, getting to that grand final, getting to finals, top 4 finishes, like the Cowboys hitting top 4 finishes, then falling out of the 8, and Parramatta hitting a grand final, falling out of the 8. The Rabbits doing exactly the same thing. There's so many teams, there's so many narratives exactly the same. It puts more into the bank of the Melbourne Storms, the Penrith Panthers of the world, but they consistently just sit in that top 4 finish. That's just mental. And we all dreamed to be that club, right? In the future, it's it's really where we want to be. So, hopefully, they can turn it around. I know, a lot of people probably don't want them to turn around too, but they're good. They're a good young side that when they do well, is obviously a big fan base that gets around them. So, but lastly, bro, talk about the the Gold Coast Titans and also the race for the 8. I see a lot of people obviously still thinking the Titans definitely got an opportunity. They've got a tough run home as well, but you see the Dragons sitting there in top 8, obviously after their big win against the Melbourne Storm. Who are you more liking at the moment that are outside of the 8 that could fall into the 8 race, that could, come home really strong? Are you thinking the Dragons can hold their spot there? Or do you reckon they're too inconsistent to hold their spot? What's your thoughts?
Well, yeah, they're a bit inconsistent at the moment, but who isn't, I guess? If you're outside the 8, you must be inconsistent. So that 8 spot is really up for grabs. I think potentially Canberra could still grab that. But I think the Dragons, I think they have a little bit of a lighter run home off the top of my head. compared to
I'll quickly go for it now.
Yeah,
they got Sharkies is probably their toughest game. The Raiders, the Eels, the Titans, and you guys this week.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty light run home, even if they do drop this week. But with the consistency that those guys are in, you know, I don't know. What's Canberra's run home like? They're another one that might squeak in.
They have, from memory, they had a tougher run home. So they got Manly this week. They got the Cowboys. They got the Panthers. They got the Roosters, and they got the Dragons. So they got a really tough run home.
So don't worry about Canberra. It's the Dragons' spot to lose potentially. It really is. So, but you know, even if the Titans don't make the 8, man, they've got this is a great building steps for next year. Nobody expects them to do too well this year. They started off not doing too well, but you know, Des finally has found that consistency there. You know, they've been hit with injuries at the start of the year as well, losing their captain straight away for the whole season. Man, that's tough to do straight away. Somebody that, you know, led you guys all through preseason, thought was going to lead you out onto the paddock the whole year round, to come down with the injury he had. On top of that, they've had Brimson, Campbell week in, week out. Their halves changed like 6 times in probably 6 weeks at those first few rounds. So they're finding that consistency now, man, and they've got a lot to build on. So but better believe that the Titans are definitely a top 8 threat for next year. That Keanu Kinney, man, is unreal.
He's been unreal, bro. And like, you know, we'll definitely touch on him a little bit shortly when we go for our teams of the week, because I think that we'll probably have a consistent one. Keanu Kinney was absolutely incredible there too. Easy, bro. Easy. Lastly, you know, any hope, there's mathematically a chance for us to make the top 8 still. Right. But after last week's performance, I probably can't see it. It just, that makes it even more frustrating when you see a lot of things that are going our way at the moment. Obviously, the Sharkies losing Trindle. We got the Sharkies on our last game into the finals. Obviously, the Dolphins falling out of the 8 now. We got a chance to, you know, put them to the sword now. And like, if we won a couple of those games early on the season, or even if we just, you know, won what we were supposed to win against the Eels and, you know, stuff like that, like we would have had a really good run home to bring it home and get in that top 8. That's what makes it even more frustrating about the year that we've had. Like mathematically, we still have a chance, but we just don't see it, right?
Oh, bro, I think you're still dreaming, eh? I really do. Like, I love your honest feelings that you think you still got a chance, but bro, to make everything to go perfect, I really don't see it happening. And Jazzy, brother, you know what? We probably will rest all of our players because we get to play finals, so you guys can have that win in the last round. We'll throw our reserve grade team out there.
Obviously, the big one for us is like, you know, we got Manly at 4 points, which always for me, I chalk up as a loss. But we got you guys, the Sharkies. So, yeah, it's going to be a really tough run home there. The Knights are another team that could be another one there. Do you see them having any potential on their run home? A decent game against, you know, the Penrith Panthers, but they still got the similar problems that the Knights usually have. It's like just having the halves merry-go-rounds, somewhat like an inconsistency, as we just touched on before. Everyone outside the 8 is very inconsistent. They run homes the Tigers, the Sharks, the Rabbits, the Titans, and the Dolphins. A fairly good run home. Do you see them have an opportunity to do that top 8?
For me, I don't understand why they're not playing Will Price. You know, he played 2 games with them or 3 games with them. I think they won 2 out of the 3, and they stick with the old shit that's not working. So that doesn't make sense for me. So no, I don't see the Knights having too much of a chance, especially with Bradman Best still on the sideline. I think he was a lot of a flare to their left edge attack, and I think they miss a lot without him. I did forget about the Dolphins. I think that, you know, they got a tough run home, but they've shown that they can beat some tough teams. So if they do win this week, they've definitely got a good crack at that top 8 as well. So yeah, but the Knights, bro, I'm writing those guys off.
Yeah, I'm probably in the same boat as you. Fuck, man. We had the perfect little run home this year if we were able to get it all together. That's the most frustrating part as a Warriors fan, but it is what it is. We'll build for next year. Fish is coming over. We got a big fish, mate. We caught a massive fish, so we'll bring him over to New Zealand and hopefully get up next week. But anything else you want to talk about? Any other news around the league you really want to touch on at the moment? I don't think there's anything crazy popping out of nowhere right now. Any retirements right now other than Shawnee?
No, I don't think so. Other than that, just keep buying from Penrith. Seems to be the way to go.
Yeah, just
like
keep
Steven Triton, brother. Oh, man, goat center
feel
already.
Free. Brian Toto, feel free. You know, there was rumors earlier on like he was leaving, so feel free. All right, guys, we'll go for our Yeah, he's a good man. He's a good man. All right, guys, we'll go for our team of the week. Brody, give us your team of the week for round 22, my brother.
Yeah, easy, brother. Keanu Kinney straight away at fullback. I don't even need my list for that one. 2 tries, 2 try assist, a line break. Jojo Fafita on one wing, 3 try assists, 3 line breaks. I think he got 1 try. I think I wrote down 3 tries for some reason. 3 tries? He did get 3 tries?
He did get 3 tries, yeah.
Oh, unreal. Stephen Crichton, bro. Oh, man, what say less about Stephen Crichton, honestly. What more could you really say? It's man, at 23, leading the club like he's doing, 3 premierships, Origin. Where do you start, bro? Get that signed, you know. Get that signed. Fly New Zealand Golden last ticket. Game when we beat the Wars. Watch Shaun his retirement. Get him to sign that.
Put it away. Put it away.
Yeah, man, unreal performance from him. Real captain knock, 2 tries, the line break, and a try assist. Unreal on the other side of the field. Iro from the Sharks, 208 meters, a line break assist, 1 try, 2 try assists. Murray Tuolangi, 3 tries, 198 meters, 2 line breaks, a line break assists. Tommy Dearden, a try, 2 line breaks, 2 line break assists, 18 tackles and 0 missed. So that's pretty good for a half. Sammy Walker, man, he was on one on the weekend. He was incredible. Couple of solo tries. He scored 2 tries and 24 points overall. So yeah, a good knock from him. Up front, I've got Joseph Tarpany and Terrell May. So Tarpany had 158 meters, a line break, 29 tackles and 0 missed. Terrell May had 37 tackles made and 0 missed and 132 meters. Brendan Hands was my hooker of the week. So he had 45 tackles, 1 miss, 1 line break. And he had 4 runs for 48 meters. So that's not bad. Some good running meters out of dummy half there. In my back rows, I had Fainu from the Tigers. He had 2 tries and 27 tackles. And Jaden Sewer, 156 meters, 2 tries, 27 tackles. And then in my lock forward role, I had Tommy Eisenhoof. He had 47 tackles and he only missed 1. And that's tough to do against the Melbourne team. So, and then I had a couple honourable mentions in Beau Fermor, Dream Buller, Jacob Preston, and obviously Nathan Cleary he was on one on the weekend as well. So
yeah, I know Nathan is just one you could just chuck in, week out, right? It's getting like that, eh? My team of the week, brother, we got obviously Keanu Kinney, as we just touched on before, freakish, performance against the Broncos, say less. Jojo Fafita and Muzza are my wingers, 100%. I totally agree with you, bro. Same with my centers, exactly the same centers. Critter, he was the shining light there over the weekend, just shows his leadership that he has around your squad, and he was the main man for you guys. He was absolutely incredible. My halves, my 6 is different. I got Dylan Brown after the game he had against us. I thought he had a solid game, 145 meters, 2 try assists, 4 tackle breaks, 1 line break. That major one he put on Chanel Harris-Tavita. Boom. See you later, brother. Made that big line break for Gutho's try. I agree with you. Sammy Walker, 2 tries, bro. He's short kicking games, just on a different fucking level, right?
Bro. Confidence, second to none.
Bro, he's unreal. Up front, I have Joseph Tarpany, so I agree with you there. The other guy I paired him up with, Jack DeBellin. I thought he had a solid knock against the Melbourne Storm there. 160 meters, 3 tackle breaks, 1 line break assist. He got through a ton of work. I think he ended up with 20 something tackles as well. I didn't really add that in. My number 9, I went Harry Grant in a losing side. 128 meters from dummy half, 2 tries, 3 tackle breaks, 45 tackles in the middle. I thought he was one of their shining lights against the Melbourne Storm. But again, if you want to hold it against as in not getting over the top of the Dragons when they should have, you could go sway that way as well. My 2 edge-back rollers, I got Sewer as well. I totally agree with you, bro. Massive game from Jaden Sewer. And he's definitely stepped up noticeably from the Origin dropping to where it is now, right? 100%, and that's 100%. A really good sign, bro. That's a really good sign. So really good to see from Jaden Sewer. He's finally sort of filling out his potential, which is really cool to see. Dave Fafita is on my other side. So 172 meters, 6 tackle breaks, 20 tackles, no miss. The only thing with Dave Fafita, I was swaying between him and Beau Fermor because I felt like Beau Fermor was just as game breaking in that game. Like, you know, usually Bowie's like the underrated one out of the two. He does a lot of work, the big line break, the try. But I thought, you know, Fafita got for his big work and no misses and 20 tackles. Like, I think that's a big, you know, knock for him, especially with the knockout at Origin that, you know, Billy Slater, all the little things he doesn't do. You know, didn't miss a tackle in this game. So a solid effort there. And my 13, again, I was throwing up many different people. I went to say Yo again, you know, 186 meters in the middle, bro, just freakish effort, and 36 tackles, no misses. Like, the guy is a freak in the middle, man. So I definitely agree with you. A couple of other players that you could have chucked up in there. I was looking at Fainu as well, Samuela. I thought he had a really solid crack over the weekend as well. But yeah, that's my team. Keeney, Fafita, Iro, Critter, Muzza, Dylan Brown, Sam Walker, Tarpanet, Harry Grant, DeBellin, Sua, Fafita, and Yo.
Yeah, look, Isaiah Yo, man, you kind of just overlook him because that's the standard, unfortunately. Otherwise, you'd just put him down in lock every week because he produces those numbers every week. So
I know. I love the Eisenhuth shout, though. I was actually looking at, like, I don't think Chris Randall had the numbers, but I thought Chris Randall was really solid over the weekend as well, and he's been solid for the Titans for a period now, playing in that 13 role. Obviously, you know, Tino's usually there if he's not playing up front. I thought it's solid knock from that guy as well. So a lot of good names you could have had there, but yeah, Isaiah was kind of the easy one I could just slot in there.
Yeah, it's pretty safe. You know, Kurt Mann, bro, if you watch his effort areas for the Doggies, he's been killing it a lot, and he's been aggressive in defense, man, like good aggressive, which is shocking. You know, I really didn't like that signing, but man, he's been on another level. So
yeah, he's been freakish, man, and also a Queenslander. So Maroons, next year will be right.
Go on.
All right, my brother, let's move over to our overrated, underrated, fairly rated. So
yeah.
Get through it, my man. One of my favorite segments of the week for sure.
Yeah, bro. So I got a couple from the team of the week that I want to touch on, and don't just say that they're underrated because they killed it this week. And then I got a couple of legends I want to touch on as well. So
beautiful.
Jojo. So we'll start with Jojo Fafita.
Underrated. I know you don't want me to keep saying underrated every week, but he's athletically a freak. Like, if you notice the kicking option he is starting to become for the Titans, whenever they kick down his side, he's always getting up above everyone on that side. Like, he's starting to get that, like the lift off really, really well. He gets his hands up in the air. He gets a good bat back and stuff. He's always been hard to handle, but he's starting to put consistent performances back to back. So I think he's really underrated, a really good outside back that the Titans have nicked there.
Yeah, I agree. You know, all the hype is on AKP on the other side. So yeah, I think Joe Fafita is underrated as well. 100%. We got Iro.
At the moment, I first thought he was fairly overrated for a player that I don't think a lot of people had seen before the league. Like, I thought that, like, you know, obviously Rugby League Guru is a massive content creator, an amazing eye for football talent. But when he was saying, you know, Iro is got to be in that center position, like, you know, he was talking about Iro in such a great light, which he is a great talent. A lot of people had the thought of, like, he needed to be in the Shark side straight away, get rid of Talakai. And that was a little period there where it kind of was like, oh, Talakai probably should still be there. Like, statistically, I think Talakai's up there and just about. So I'm going to go fairly rated at the moment. I think he's had some really solid games, like the game of the weekend, incredible performance there. But I've also seen some games where he does, like, hamper on that side. Defensively, he still has moments in him as well. He's still so young, but he's definitely got potential. He runs like a Valentine Holmes type. So I just need to see more out of him as well. But at the moment, I'm going fairly rated, only because I've been stung by the overrated, like, nature of him started the season. Like, people didn't watch him in New South Wales Cup. He was, you know, averaging about 3 missed tackles a game. He really stepped up on that area coming into first grade, but it was one area that a lot of people were like, he's going to fix the defensive issues of the Sharkies, which I never saw from the start. So that's just my thoughts anyway.
No, you're right. I was leaning towards overrated as well. He's starting to find his own in first grade, and that's not a knock on him. He's a good player. He's got a lot of talent, but I'm only saying overrated for the same thing. You know, Talakai was absolutely killing that center position last year. He got picked for Origin, you know, because of the form that he was in. And for the Sharkies to quickly drop him to a bench role to chuck in Eero. Must have been a lot of hype around him, and he just didn't live up to that for me. But, you know, he's starting to find his feet. He's got the talent there, but it's about putting it all together. So, yeah, I definitely think I'm leaning towards overrated there, but I'm starting to see that he is fairly rated. So, and then my next one is Terrell May.
Oh, if you asked me early on the season, I would have said overrated 100%. Like again, this comes down to content creators and hearing bloke in a bar, like, you know, Danny Kemp was massive on him. That was the first time I started to hear a lot about Terrell May. And I was looking at him, I was like, I've seen Terrell May before. I've not seen the same things they're seeing. Like when he was at the Panthers and then losing to the Panthers, then going to the Roosters. And I was just like, sometimes I just saw laziness sometimes out of him, but I feel like he's definitely switched up his game. He's worked really, really hard, and he's gotten to probably a fairly rated level for me right now. But yeah, when he first came into the league, bro, and a lot of people talking about like he looks incredible, I just wasn't seeing the same things, but maybe my eye was a little bit off there, but I thought overrated to start with, but he's swaying fairly rated right now for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's fairly rated as well, just on the same note. So, all right, we're gonna get into a couple of older heads. All right, and
okay,
this one's gonna trigger me, I reckon. But Brent Tate,
underrated, bar,
underrated,
bro.
The man with the big overrated. He's overrated.
No, one of the most consistent wingers for us in our period. You know, for the Broncos, what he's done, he's touched the Origin stage. He had big moments in the Origin stage. Like, also broke his neck too.
Anybody could have big moments outside of that team, and you guys had for fucking Queensland. So he is overrated.
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, think of like he came to the Warriors, bro. He was one of our standout players for that period. Then the late 2000s.
Average, man. Anybody could have been a standout for you guys as well.
Listen, we had good players there too. But in the Broncos days, like he's won multiple premierships. Like, what do you reckon about him? Like, what's the thing that you don't feel like he should be there, or do you think that is more so on? Do you hear a lot of people say he's like one of the greatest centers of all time? Is that where you're coming from, or where are you thinking?
Yeah, I kind of put him in the same light I put Darius Boyd. You know what I mean? Like,
okay,
everybody thought that he was this, he was that. Just he made Queensland, he did this and all that. But you know, if you took them to an average club, they wouldn't be as good. You know what I mean? And if you put anybody in their positions at the times they were in Queensland, they would have killed it just as much, in my opinion. With the team that they had around them. So that's why I'm leaning towards, you know, overrated for him. He wasn't doing the stuff that, you know, wingers and centers are doing nowadays. And, you know, like some of the wingers and centers aren't getting the hype that, you know, that dude got. So
I don't know, bro. Like, think of like we weren't a good team in like the early 2000s. Like, we had some good signings, obviously Steve Price and stuff. And like, you know, looking back on it, like from my memory, I've always had really good memories of Brent Tate there outside Ed. Like defensively, he was always really sound. He had like underrated speed that like I didn't see out of him. It reminded me like, remember Scott Minto back in the fucking day, bro? Like just like, I don't know. I don't know how he got around the park, but out of nowhere, he just surprised the fuck out of you. Brent Tate continually did that. And I think that may be to the reason why everyone kind of does love him a lot more is like, he just looks like a knockabout bloke, a normal bloke that's going out there and killing his job. You know, and his career at the Cowboys was solid for the Cowboys as well. As I said, he's won a couple of premierships. Like, yeah. Where did this start with you with Brent Tate? That's what I want to know. Where did this start?
Queensland, bro. Queensland. It started with me.
We did that too.
I don't know. I rate him in the same light I rate Darius Boyd, brother. That's all it really comes down to. I see, like, even Kyle Felt, I see him as kind of a Kyle Felt type.
Well, who's better, do you reckon, him or Darius Boyd? I know you rate him in the same light, but who's better?
I'm gonna lean towards Darius Boyd for winning, you know.
I could see that. No, he was a good fullback for a little period there too. Yeah. I know it's a wild one for you.
That's tough.
We'll put it this way. Do you rate Jack Reed?
Look, I reckon Jack Reed could have been so much more if he didn't have the injuries he had. But, you know, he showed so many good signs in that Broncos team. Same with Matt Gillette. I rated both of those guys. You know, Jack Reed had a few errors in him, but, man, the amount of effort he put in, you can't match effort. You know, like he didn't have the build to be anything special. You know, he didn't have anything go his way, and he was a ginger. So, you know, like he was.
How you gonna label him with that, bro?
I don't know, bro. But, you know, like he had no right to be picked for NRL, and his hard work got him there, and it showed. You know, he was full of effort. So.
See, that's my same argument for Brent Tate. And that's why I say, like, you know, Brent Tate was the early day Jack Reed for me, in my opinion. Like, a guy that was. That stops his aerodynamics, Brody. He was still getting up and down that field, man.
Look. He had some good moments. But
there we go. We won him over.
I think Darius Boyd was overrated as well, and you know, I think he's the same as Darius Boyd. So that's the reason why I think Brent Tate's overrated. And don't get me started on Justin Hodges. We're not going down that avenue.
These all Broncos players, guys. Are we noticing something here?
Well, let's get into some back.
I was going to say, our next player is not Darius Boyd, right?
No. We're going to get into some legends now, brother. So we're going to go with Marco Mealy.
I love the little side comment there, bro. Marco Mealy, yeah. Underrated because if we bring up some of the best like front row forwards in the early 2000s, like I think some people would bring him up, but I don't think enough would bring him up. I've held him in the same light as a Luke Bailey. Like, you remember Luke Bailey back in the day, solid worker, got up and down his work. Very similar to a Matt Scott as well. Remember the period where Matt Scott was known as the best front row forward in the game?
Man. Yeah, he was the it man, bro. Yeah.
But these days, you bring up the best front row forwards all time. I do feel like that Matt Scott wouldn't get named as much as what he did in that era as well.
Underrated.
I think Marco Mealy is exactly the same, bro. So I would say underrated. What he did for that doggy side in the early era, like he was like an ogre in the middle, bro. The scary guy in the middle. You know, he taught players like Willie Mason to get to their level. The Sonny Bill Williams, like the leadership he had in the middle. Like Willie's spoken about it multiple times. So I got to go underrated for him, bro.
Yeah. Well, my next one is Willie Mason, and you know the hype that he gets, and you know. Marco Mealy was probably just as good, if not better than him in those early 2000s. And he doesn't get half the hype that Willie Mason gets. But for me, Willie Mason is underrated at the Doggies, or fairly rated at the Doggies, sorry. But when he went to Newcastle, I think he was overrated.
He's overrated. Yeah. Is that your next guy? Yeah, Willie Mason?
Yeah, Willie Mason. Yeah.
Bro, at the Dogs, I thought it was definitely underrated. I think that over his career, obviously people started to figure out like, you know, he had a big name for what he did at the Dogs and it went around everywhere. And that's what got him contracts left, right and center. Like he left the Super League, came back to the Knights. I think that was a little bit of a like Wayne Bennett holding up the white flag and be like, come Willie, come. We need someone in this forward pack. And it's good to hear those stories, but I'm going to say fairly rated. I think, you know, everyone that knows Willie Mason, what he did on the football field, was a great football player for the period that he was in. I think that later on in his career, it definitely wasn't the best Willie Mason that we've ever seen. But early on in his career, I thought he was a really top-notch forward that we had in the middle, especially for Australia as well.
100%, brother, 100%. All right. Next one for the Waz, brah, Ryan Hoffman.
Ooh. Oh, one of our dud signings in a way. Like, bro, you can add that to the list. If you're talking about Warriors, Ryan Hoffman, overrated. If you're talking about like overall Ryan Hoffman, I'd say fairly rated. I think, I'd go fairly rated. I'd hold him in the same light as like a Kurt Capewell that we have these days. We obviously signed Curdy Capewell expecting that he was going to be another one of those people. It just reminds me similar to that signing of Ryan Hoffman when we had that, you know, Roger and all those boys come over and we had Ryan Hoffman there and everyone was like, oh, this side on paper is incredible for what he did in the Melbourne Storm system. But people also forget that was the Melbourne Storm system too. So
exactly right.
Hardworking player, went through his work. But yeah, I'd say that. I got a question for you. Like obviously as a Doggies fan, Andrew Ryan or Ryan Hoffman?
Andrew Ryan, bro.
Yeah.
Andrew Ryan. Yeah. The old Bobcat, bro. Unreal. I rate Andrew Ryan just as much as Josh Jackson. To me, they're the same player. Josh Jackson was just reincarnated of Andrew Ryan for us. And you know, Josh Jackson didn't get the credit he deserved, or the team around him that he deserved at the Doggies in those struggling years. Josh Jackson, man, he was one of my shining lights and hope in those tough years for the Doggies, man. I love Josh Jackson, but I rate him the same as Andrew Ryan.
Freak, man. But yeah, with Ryan Hoffman, bro, I'm gonna go Fairly rated. I think he's a great edge back rower. Did a ton of work for Melbourne Storm. I just can't get over. He wasn't bad for us, but he wasn't like what we expected he was going to be. And I think that just was due down to systems, really, unfortunately.
Yeah, 100%. I agree, brother. My next one was Josh Jackson, but we can both agree that he's just underrated.
Yeah.
And then we're going to jump down to Mark Riddell, bro.
Oh, Mark Riddell. I used to love Mark Riddell.
Old Piggy Riddell.
Bro. I'm going to say underrated for the cult figure that he still could be right now. People like any of the younger generation that have never watched early era, rugby league, early 2000s, mid 2000s, Mark Riddell, big body, freaking hooker, score a try immediately, like left, right, and center, and then go into the stands and celebrate it himself. Like a freak of nature there, bro.
Chuck up the Matt Riddell highlights right now. That goal kicking technique, bro, second to none.
Bro, watch us get copyrighted like I did on YouTube on my channel. But guys, make sure, check out some Mark Riddell highlights. Like, I rate Mark Riddell, so I'm going to go underrated, my bro. Just a cult figure that we've had in the game. He's a freak.
100%. And my last one is Simon Mannering.
Oh, underrated for sure. Like, bro, for what he did, for the Warriors, a lot of people, this is the thing is like, when we talk to the Warriors, like all-time Warriors teams, I think a lot of people would want to put Simon Mannering in there, but probably would sway because we had the Wits of the world, we have Cambians, even like Tohu, what Tohu's done for our club as well. But Simon Mannering's up there, bro. Like one of our best captains we've ever had in the middle, came from an edge, played in the middle, hard worker. Legit, he's so similar to players that you've had in the past, as you said, like a Jock Jackson type and that don't get the full credit because the flamboyant players get a lot of the credit. And agreed, I love Shaun Johnson as the best of them, but a guy that held it all together, was definitely Simon Mannering, bro. Absolute freak of nature. Just in an accountant's body, but got down and dirty and did the hard work in the middle.
I agree, brother. Couldn't agree more.
All right, my man. I want to throw a couple back your way, bro. I want to throw a couple back your way. So my first one, I feel like I know where I'm sitting with all these guys here, but Moses Leota for the Panthers.
Bro, underrated. Man, Fish gets all the knocks. And Moses Leota's work doesn't always show up on the stat sheet, but the effort does. If you sit there and watch a Panthers game, bro, he is that start to the engine room, and Fisher Harris is just the punch kicking into second gear. But Moses Leota is definitely the start of that engine room, and I think he's underrated.
100%, bro. He just a part of that duo. He seems to be the one that kind of is the second pedestal. Fish is up top there, but I feel like these guys are hand in hand, for what they do at the Panthers. And we saw what he did in the Broncos in the grand final. He was the one that scored the try that, got him back into that game there. Yeah. He's had some massive moments, throughout his career. I remember that Parramatta Eels game. He was the one leading the defensive charge against the Parramatta Eels. Who did he put some shots on that grand final, left, right, and center. Remember we were talking about who could be Clive Churchill. I think he was up there for us as well. So underrated for sure, bro. Underrated for sure.
Definitely.
Joey Manu, a guy that's leaving rugby league soon, but over his career, been known as probably the best center in the league for a long period. What do you feel about him right now?
I'm going to say fairly rated, bro. I'm not going to say he's underrated because he's definitely well rated. But I think that's well deserved to be 100%. Rated the way he is as one of the best centers in the game. What he's done is freakish. He's really dropped off his meters compared to what he's normally used to. Of that 200 plus mark, he's dropped that down a bit. But I think that's just the style that the Roosters are playing now. But yeah, whether you want to try out of him, you want him to eat up meters, you want him to play center, wing, 5'8", fullback, he does it. He's incredible all over the park. And I think, he's definitely fairly rated. He's going to be a big miss to the game. I hope he comes back.
Yeah, same, bro. He's just an incredible talent that we've had in the game. 6'4", over 100 kilos to move the way he does. When he goes back to fullback, his fitness level just doesn't drop. He's like a freak of nature, man. So rugby union are going to love him for sure. So yeah, fairly rated is a good one there. And our last one, Will Benacini. Your thoughts on Will Benacini, especially around his thoughts this year?
He doesn't get rated as much as he's probably deserved up to probably this season. But this season he's really struggled, and I'm starting to see a lot of grubby tactics come out of him. I'm starting to see him in the same light I see Isaac Tago. This year's really made me dial him back to probably fairly rated, if not overrated. Whereas if you asked me this question last year, I would have said underrated in a heartbeat because I didn't feel like there was much hype on him. But this season, with what he did last year, he proves that he can do it. So it's not a fact that he can't do it or he doesn't have the talent. But this year, I'm gonna say probably overrated.
Yeah. So I'm teetering still. I think fairly rated. I think there's a little bit that coincides with his form this year. I think Parramatta, like just being in the state that they're in, obviously his outside man that puts him through, gives him a lot of space with the Mitchell Moses of the world. He's like been missing in and out this year. But agreed, like he's a player that had a bit of hype there, not as much hype as other centers in the league, but was starting to grow into his game. He really found himself there. This year's kind of been a bit more of a mellow year for him there, but I still see him, especially with a good system around him. Hopefully Rilesley gets a really good system in him and defensively he grows again and becomes really consistent. He'll be around that like underrated to fairly rated range, but that's where I sit with him right now. But I can understand where you're coming from with overrated too, because when he got to the heights of like when the Parramatta Eels were at the grand final, there was a period where he was really underrated, but people were starting to go, oh, here's a guy, here we go. And then now it's kind of like teetered now. It's like kind of stayed horrid, like everything's standard right now. So
100%.
I see you.
Yeah. And then, Matty Timmercall's another one, but I think he's fairly rated. He's only playing his second season of first grade as a full-timer. He's a bit like Penasini, come onto the scene out of nowhere, showed all this talent, and unfortunately hasn't really delivered this season. So, we'll see what they bring next season. Hopefully they can find some good form, both being so young. They could be future talents for sure.
Yeah, they're both guys I have like right here, eh? Like I don't see
100%.
one. I see moments where one's better than the other, then I'll see other moments that the other's better than that. You know what I mean? Like I think Matty Timoko's tackle breaking is like on a different level, but I also think like Will Penasini's got that in his locker as well, and his footwork's 100%. There too. So they're both like, yeah, I agree. They're both on the same level, and they're the two that are probably pushing the new era of centre after, you're seeing obviously the Joey Manus and all that come through. And Critter's definitely the head of that era right now. Like Critter's still so young for what he is. Yeah. But those boys are definitely coming up underneath that. But that my three, my bro, Moses Leota, Joey Manu, Will Penasini, really good ones.
Yeah,
nice.
Bro. I like it.
We may as well filter over, bro, to our Guess Who segment of the week. As we do, we give Brody our Guess Who. We got 4 people tonight. We got halfback edition, and all these guys have had ties to Shaun Johnson. So this is why I wanted to do it. Obviously, Shawnee was retiring, and that may give you a little bit of an insight to where I'm going here, my bro. So that might be a little bit of an easy one for you. But the first one, our easy level, and I even told you before the show, I think this easy level might be a little bit harder than what I actually think it is. So
you told me this last week.
Yeah, right. Well, you killed it last week too. You killed it. All right. So he started off at the Sharkies from 2011 to 2013. Then went to the Warriors at 2014 to 2015, where he was paired up with Shaun Johnson. Then went to the Sharkies again, 2016 to 21. He went back to the Warriors in 2021. And then went to Cowboys 2022 to 24. And he will be going somewhere else next year. Yeah, 100%. There you go, baby. There's the easy one. What gave it away?
Sharks was definitely gave it away for me. And I know he played with Shawnee over there in NZ. So
and obviously going to the Roosters next year as well. I didn't want to give away the Roosters because I felt like that was going to be a layup right there, but you had it on a tee.
Yeah, no. And if he's still playing to now, there's not many halfbacks from 2011 that are still playing now. So bit of a giveaway.
Legit. All right, next ones are guys that are out of the game now, so this could make it a little bit more difficult. This guy is an absolute legend, so let's see how you go here. So he started at the... it's going to give it away straight away. Started at the West Tigers from 2003 to 2013. Then he went to the Dragons 2014 to 2016. Went to the Broncos 2017. Then went back to the Tigers 2018 to 2020 and finished at the Rabbitohs. He also, represented New Zealand, one of the best halfbacks probably in our era. Who you reckon it is?
Oh, Darren Lockyer? Nah. Benji Marshall.
Yeah, bro. The Darren Lockyer from Whakatane, baby.
I think it's by Ryan.
Yeah. Here it is. But it pretty much gave it away with the West Tigers to start with. As soon as I saw it, I was like, fuck, he's going to get this straight away. All right, my man.
I think everyone
Two
might
from
forget
two.
that he went to the Bronx for that 1 year. You know, that
And
one
that's why I thought I
threw me
was.
off a little bit. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I was going to switch you up on the Broncos look, but this one may get you a little bit. I'm thinking anyway. So started off at the Melbourne Storm 2009, and then he went to the Warriors 2010 to 2011 to 2012. Then went to the Roosters 2013 to 2015. Then went to the Sharkies 2016 to 2017. It is 100% it's James Maloney. I thought I was going to throw you off. I was going to go Panthers, Catalans, and he ended up with some other club I can barely name. So
that's not well
done, brother. Yeah. All right, and welcome to the hard section. So this is a guy that I don't think has had a massive name around the game, but I definitely remember him, fondly. Started off the Broncos from 2002 to 2006. Then he went to the Sharkies 2007 to 2009. Think deeply here. Went to the Warriors 2010 to 2011. He was the guy that got injured that gave Shawnee his shot in the jersey. Then he went to Hull FC, went over to Super League 2012 to 2013, and he finished up with other Super League teams. So Castleford, Whitehaven, Shrewsbury. So he finished out his career. So the main ones you got to think about, started with the Broncos 2002, ended his NRL career in 2011.
Oh, I know him, and I know his face.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know the name again, like Luke Prittis.
Not sure if there's any real ways I can kind of like throw anything up, but
no, I don't. I know his face. I just don't know his name.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. Oh.
I know you know this one. This is going to the years that we're playing Rugby League 1, Rugby League 2. Actually, it would have been in Rugby League.
Where did he start again? He started at the Bronx.
He started at the Broncos. He was fairly successful at the Broncos. I'm pretty sure he won the premiership with them in 2006. I don't think he was starting half that night from memory, but anyway. He went to the Sharkies, which is an underrated part of his career as well. That's a lot of people don't remember. Played 39 games for them. He was at the Warriors for a shorter stint, bro. So 22 games for the Warriors. And as I said, he was the injury that gave Shaun Johnson his start.
Fuck, actually, I think I'm well off. I don't think that guy I'm thinking of played half.
Yeah, he was definitely a number 7.
And played in the
I always thought that this guy had a stint at the Dogs, but he didn't. He didn't from memory.
I don't think I'm going to get it, bro.
You don't think you're going to get it?
Final 206.
See if there's anything I can give it away. There's a couple of indiscretions he had, as a rugby league player does. Yeah. His first name is Brett.
Brett.
Yep.
Nah.
Brett Seymour, my brother.
Brett Seymour.
Remember Brett Seymour?
If this is the dude's face that I'm thinking of, I'm going to be pissed.
Look up Brett Seymour, my bro. I actually fairly rated him earlier. And then, for us, he didn't have the greatest stint.
It's not the dude I was thinking of.
Who the dude are you thinking of? I'm wondering that now.
He played for the Warriors. I think he might have played hooker for you guys.
Not Thomas Lillaway.
Nah. He was only a small fella.
Nathan Friend?
No, not Nathan Friend.
Tahi forgot about Seymour. Yeah, good old Brett Seymour. Pretty sure, I'll read here. I'm pretty sure he won a premiership with the Broncos. He's in our 2006 side. I just don't think he made the appearance there from memory. But that's where I remembered him early on in my career. Then obviously when he came to the Warriors, gave us a lot of, obviously the moment of Shaun Johnson cracking into first grade. That was a big one.
Oh, man.
I'll try and we'll go. Oh, I want to figure this out because this. I want to know who Brodie thought this was. I'm gonna go pick up the Warriors. The players that play for the Warriors.
Lance Ohio,
So
bro.
Lance Ohio. Yeah.
That's
freak,
who I was
bro.
thinking of.
One of the best utilities of all time and highly underrated.
100%. One of
You
my
remember the
uncles,
era?
one of my dad's uncles played for the Warriors, Phil Blake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. First 5-point try. Write it down.
You're part Kiwi, aren't ya? You're like a quarter Kiwi.
No.
You're Kiwi, aren't ya?
Nah, definitely not.
You're definitely not Kiwi?
No offense, boys.
Bro, Lance Ohio, like legit, like he so underrated, bro. In that early era, you know, Warriors and that. He was like the guy holding the boys together. Such a consistent player. But Brett Seymour, bro. Brett Seymour.
Yeah. And there was another dude I was thinking of, but I still can't think of his name either. Those two Warriors guys going through my mind. And yeah, I can't think of them.
So we had Lance Ohio.
There's no photos anymore either on here.
Because if you're thinking of Lance Ohio, he played multiple positions. One that I think that comes to mind, that was a weird one, but he used to play fullback at a moment, at a pinch. And the player that you're thinking of, I'm thinking in my head, could have played fullback for the Warriors. Because I'm blanking right now. Fullbacks history. Because we had Brent Webb for a little period.
Nah, he either played hooker, bro, or he might have played in the halves. And he was like, he was a white Kiwi, and he had like a kind of like a mohawk, you know, like the trendy mohawks back then, not the full blown mohawks.
I was gonna say, you don't think Michael Witt's a Kiwi, right?
No. He was definitely a Kiwi.
In that same era of Lance Ohio and that?
Yeah, bro, yeah.
Guys, what do you reckon?
I'm
You got
trying to look at the
not Tui Lola here.
Nah, Tui Lola here.
Shout out SC Warrior.
He's bro, this one's gonna eat me alive for a while. I'm looking at like the old
not Chuma Vave. I said Brent Webb, PJ Marsh. I'm going through some names on top of my, like what we got here. 208. Yeah. Ivan Cleary. You think it's 2008, yeah?
Nah, I'm looking at a poster from 2008. That dude on the right, front right. I'll send it to you.
Send it to
Tell
me,
me
baby.
This dude's name. This is who I thought you were thinking of. Front row, right, bro. I'll send it to you on Messenger.
All right.
Tell me his
now,
name,
guys.
So it itches
it's
my
not
brain.
Nathan Fiend. All right, top right.
Yeah, Nathan Fiend. Is that his name? I thought it was Nathan, but I didn't want to sound like I thought Nathan Friend.
Yeah, Nathan Fiend, bro. Nathan Fiend.
Bottom right?
Yeah. Nathan Fiend. Nathan
Did I
Fiend.
describe him any better? White Kiwi, kind of mohawk.
That era, man. Yeah, Nathan Fiend. Good work, SC Warrior, bro. You hit the nail on the head. You don't get a reward for it, bro, and I do apologize for that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm getting this right. But Nathan Fiend, because he, from memory, he's not a Kiwi either.
He's not, bro. He's straight. Looks like
actually, yeah, he is Kiwi. Yeah, played Four Nations for the Kiwis. He was the one that scored the try. Remember that try for the Kiwis? I just saw the highlight for it the other day. It was a blast from the past. They went down the sideline with, I think, Nightingale came back in the inside, a couple of big offloads. I think Shaun hit a couple of right foot steps, or Benji hit a couple of right foot steps, put an offload to him, scored to try to win the game. But yeah, that was Nathan Fiend.
Nathan Fiend, I remember. Oh, who's the dude I just sent you a photo of? I remember him being a bit of a weapon, and he played a bit of back row, a bit of center.
Oh, Lewis Brown.
Lewis Brown. He was another freak. I know he's not a Kiwi. Wasn't he like some sort of like European or some bullshit?
I'm pretty sure he was Kiwi, from memory, because he's got a bit of an accent now, but I don't know if that's just because he's hanging around with the boys these days. But he's actually signed back on with us to do our clothing, so he does a lot of fashion these days.
Is he?
But he's legend, and he was the guy that scored the try off the Shaun Johnson underball against the Melbourne Storm. So that's probably why it's coming to your head. Yeah, he's born in New Zealand, my brother, so he's a Kiwi.
Freak, man. I thought he was like European or Spanish or some shit. Like he don't look like Kiwi.
Bro, I could go through names right now, like, you know, all these players that are like, I think a lot of people, like for me, I have a fond memory of Bodine Thompson. I got a really weird memory of Bodine Thompson. That's mainly because, like, whenever was it late, I was getting into like betting and stuff like that, put on Bodine Thompson. He always scored me tries. So he's a freak of nature like that.
Thompson.
Outside of Shaun Johnson, bro, fucking freakish. Yeah. Fuck yeah, guys. There you go. Some Guess Who for all you guys in the chat as well. So SC Warrior, shout out to you.
Yeah,
Nathan's Bean. Good man, good man. All right, my brother, let's run through our weekend this weekend. Our Punters Paradise, guys. As I say, before we go through this, obviously we'll be giving away our bets for the weekend. So make sure you gamble responsibly. Don't go crazy on the punt this weekend. Make sure you set a deposit limit when you get around to it. I won't be saying any numbers or anything. As I said, I'm pretty sure the gambling hotline is different to every different country out there, but make sure you gamble responsibly. Brother, first game of the weekend, we got the Rabbits and the Melbourne Storm. Obviously, Eli Katoa's a massive out for the Melbourne Storm, but for the Rabbits, a massive in. Cody Walker looks like he's returned from injury. Which way are you swaying to way in this contest here? Obviously, a core stadium at Sydney. Do you think Melbourne are just going to do it and do it well?
Yeah, on this one, I think Melbourne will put a bit of a cricket score on the Rabbits. So, but just before that, bro, I think we will touch on last week, which we got, I got 5 out of 8.
Yes.
And we didn't get any bets up. I didn't get any of the punts up last week.
Nah, neither.
I think Melbourne kind of ruined that for me with the performance they put on, but I'm going to double down on them this week. Yeah, how many tips you get this week? Last week, sorry.
Yeah, brother. 5 from 8 as well. You know, that's above positive, you know, above halfway. Obviously, we like to get those 6 7s. But yeah, there we go. Nad's in the chat, bro. Welcome, Nad.
You're like an hour and 12 minutes late, brother.
You're gonna have to watch it back, bro, to see all the slander he said about the Dragons. It's like, nah, he was all right. But yeah, bro, what do you reckon in this matchup? What are you feeling?
Yeah, bro, yeah. Melbourne, 13 plus. And my multi for this one is Will Warbrick anytime, Ryan Pappenhausen anytime, and then Pappenhausen, Grant Anderson, and Warbrick to combine for 3+ tries, and that's $3.20 on your Thursday night game. Whereas any league fails, money back. So
lovely. I'm with you there, bro. I think the Melbourne Storm will do it and do it well. Just Melbourne after the loss last week. I think Bellamy will have them up and cranky for this one. And Munster, you know, I've got Munster in Supercoach, so Munster go big for me this weekend, please.
I think you will, brother.
Hopefully, brother. Next game, we got the Titans versus Sharkies, my bro. So AJ Brimson again finds his name in the reserves sheet. Does he find his way into this lineup? I'm not too sure. No other massive notable names coming in here for both sides. Obviously, big notable out for the Sharkies. No Trindle and no Braden Hemion-Uele. Who are you swaying towards there? Does that sway you more so to the Titans with obviously Trindle out?
It does.
Stadium. Yeah,
it does for sure. You know, the momentum's been with the Titans as well, and I think that's why AJ's finding it hard to find a spot back in there. I mean, like, who do you drop for him? Everybody's been playing great for the Titans, so I'm going to roll with the Titans. I'm going to go with the Titans 1-12. But multi will be David Fafita and Sione Katoa anytime try scorers, and that's $4.75.
Oh, I like it. $4.75, guys. Jump on that one. I think the Titans actually a good value there, $1.50. You know, it could be a little bit shorter, obviously, with the Trindle news being out. Blake Brayley has been named that halfback role, but last time I've seen, I think both Cam McGuinness and him switch out defensively on that side. So expect a lot of lines be running down that side either way, being both middle players playing on an edge. Next game, bro, we got the Parramatta Eels versus the Panthers. Is at CommBank Stadium. Can the Parramatta Eels go back to back after the big win last week, or do you reckon the Panthers will come really, really strong? Obviously, the Parramatta Eels are a little bit of a bogey side for the Panthers in years past, but what do you reckon?
I think that the Eels always come they show up against the Panthers, but I definitely think the Panthers will win. I'm going to go with the Panthers -8.5. And my multi for that one is Jerome Luai anytime and Casey McLean anytime. And that's $7.50.
Oh, I love it. Jazzy, my bro, I see you here. Ash and Brody want me to put you on a spot with a little possibility, I'm guessing. But throw you a very cool and interesting question. Throw away, Jazzy, while we go through the tips, and I'll read it out very, very shortly. So keep an eye on that. I'm with you here, bro. I'm going to go to Panthers. I think that, great win from the Parramatta Eels last week. They were throwing the ball around willy-nilly. They looked really, really strong defensively for the majority of that game. But the Penrith Panthers are definitely a major step up than what we are currently with the Warriors right now. So definitely go on the Penrith Panthers there. Next game, we got the Raiders versus the Manly Seagulls. I think it's actually going to be a fairly good game here at GIO Stadium. Not too many big names in and out overall here. I think the biggest name is Haumole Olakau'atu is back for the Manly Seagulls on that edge back rower. Obviously been suspended from Origin. Your thoughts here, bro? Who do you reckon is going to get over in this contest? I think Fogarty might be a really good sway guy here. I feel like if without Fogarty, the Raiders, I possibly lose in my opinion. But with Fogarty back in, I feel like that gives it a little bit more 50-50 for me. What do you reckon?
Oh yeah, well he played last week, brother, and we still dusted them. So I think with Olakau'atu back in, I think that strengthens up that right side of Manly's defense, and I think that takes away one of Canberra's attacking weapons in Hudson Young down that left edge. So I'm gonna lean towards Manly. I think Manly will get the job done in Canberra. I'd say 1-12, just the simple fact that it's in Canberra.
Yeah, and Canberra love to grind one out. I am going to go the Manly Seagulls, obviously having the week rest. Tommy Turbo. If there was no Tommy Turbo, I'd go sway the Raiders, but Tommy Turbo there, ready to go. I think Manly's going to be a little bit too strong in that matchup. Next one, we got the Cowboys versus the Broncos. This will be happening at Townsville. Obviously, the Broncos looking to get a win on the board. Quickly before that, here we go. Jazzy. Question: who is your most underrated player for both of your clubs that you would like to have reached higher heights in the game / club? So underrated player you'd wish got to higher heights, whether they retired early or something like that. What do you reckon, bro? It's definitely one on the spot.
Yeah, look, Josh Jackson. Yeah, like Josh Jackson for me, bro. I think he was well underrated. He was a great club captain for us, and he deserved to reach so much higher in the game. And I do believe if Josh Jackson was at a better club like Melbourne or something like that, he would probably be in GOAT contention for back rower just from his pure hard work. He was pretty much Liam Martin, but he just unfortunately wasn't in a good team. I'm pretty sure he never got a sniff at Origin, even though he well deserved it. I think he might have played a game actually off the top of my head, but he deserves so much more. And if he was in, a great system, unfortunately we weren't in a good place when he was with us. But I think, for him, man, if he was at Penrith, he would have been Liam Martin, all over. But yeah, on the spot, he's definitely the one I always go back to. That's definitely the most underrated for us.
Yo, I'm going to sway. I was just thinking off the top of my head. I feel like the easy answer for me would be around that Simon Mannering or something like that. But I'm going to sway the way to Brent Webb. I brought him up before. Actually, Lance Ohio is really close to it too. Like Brent Webb or Lance Ohio. So Brent Webb obviously was our fullback in our early 2000s era. The fullback that got us to a grand final that year was Stacey Jones, 2002. I had to go rewatch those sort of earlier periods there because I never got to watch a lot of it live, during my early years of watching football. But going back, he was such a really good fullback for a guy that never had much of a name. If I said Brent Webb to a lot of people, they'd be like, who? You know what I mean? Like, I think he was really incredible. Lance Ohio, for sure. Like you just brought him up before. One of the best utility pieces we've ever seen, in rugby league. Could play 6, could play 9, could play fullback, could play out the center, could play on the wing, could play anywhere, honestly. And he was holding that team together, the Warriors, with that, the mid to 2000s, early 2010s. I thought he was absolutely incredible. So it was obviously good to hear Brodie bring up his name before too. It's just like a blast from the past. So I love this. Bro, some Johnny Carlaw. Yeah, Johnny Carlaw. I remember Carlaw used to be a guard. Your thoughts on Carlaw? You remember Carlaw back in the day?
Oh, yeah. Is he? No. I don't think so.
He
this guy out.
I'll give him the best way. I'm pretty sure Carlaw. I'm not sure if he was a part of a brother, like the two brothers, but I'm pretty sure one of them was a Bronco from memory and it came to the Warriors. But really, really underrated edge back rower. Used to come off the bench a lot of the time too. Another player that Shaun Berrigan. I used to rate Shaun Berrigan when I was little too.
Yeah,
he was
for
definitely
sure.
underrated.
Johnny
Love those
Carlo, I
pieces.
don't know.
Was it for me? Yeah, Johnny Carlo. Love that for you, Jazzy. Appreciate you, my bro. All right, let's get back to our tips for the weekend, my brother. Cowboys versus Broncos. No Ezra Mam, no Payne Haas for the Broncos. Is that too much of an outs for them coming up against the Cowboys up at Townsville?
Oh, I think so, but I guarantee they'll probably show up now. It's just you got one of those feels like you're waiting for them to just redeem themselves, but I just can't see it with those big names out. I think the Cowboys have too much for them at home, especially with the defense that the Broncos have been throwing out there. So give me the Cowboys, but I'll say 1-12 though.
Yeah, a lot of rumors going around that Reese might play 6 this week. Apparently at training, they've seen him run around at 6. And obviously they're carrying Tristan Saylor on the bench. So Tristan Saylor, top 5 fullback in the game, going back at the fullback.
Let's see what happens. Get the job done.
I'm with you, bro. I think the Cowboys will be a little bit too strong. From what I've seen of the Broncos last couple of weeks, I think it's going to take a little bit for them to turn that back around. Moving on to your favorite game of the weekend here. We got the Doggies versus the Dragons, and this will be at Cogra. Get excited for this one, my brother. Both of them pretty much top to bottom from last week. Josh Adokar returned last week, had a okay game back in the lineup there. Do you reckon he adds on top of the back of that, maybe getting a meaty this week? What do you reckon? The Doggies get the win this one?
Yeah. I think we've probably got too much speed for the Dragons out wide. They got the big power game, but which team doesn't have the power advantage over us at the moment? So I think we'll kill them with speed on the edges, and I think we'll get the job done. I reckon.
When you look at this Dragons lineup, who worries you the most?
I'm going to say Moses Sully. But we've got Stephen Crichton up against him, so I'm going to probably lean towards maybe Jaden Sewer in the form he has been in.
Yeah,
I'm a bit worried about Jaden Sewer with Ben Hunt sniffing around for an offload off him. Maybe catch out, being a bit lazy potentially. But yeah, probably that right edge of the Dragons in Jaden Sewer, Ben Hunt combination.
Love it, bro. Love it. I'm going to sway it away of you guys, but again, I believe it's going to be really, really close. I think that the Dragons are going to remember what happened to them early on this year where you blew them out late, a couple of injuries to the Jack Bird and stuff, and then you guys really put your attack together and just shut the door on them. You scored 50 in that game from memory. Was it you got to the 50s, right?
It's what we do.
But yeah, I really did think that I think there's going to be a 2-point game, stuff like that. I think it's going to come all the way down to the edge. Jazzy, Johnny Carlo played a lot of center and a bit of wing. Played for the Warriors, Balmain, West Tigers, 150 games at St. George too. I thought, who am I thinking? Carlo. He was an edge back rower. Played for the Broncos early day. Dane Carlo? I think it's Dane Carlo.
I think you're talking about Jane Carlo, bro. No, I'm serious. Carlo? I think it is.
Actually, no, Dane. I thought it was Dane Carlo.
Is it the Dane dude?
Carlo?
Is it the dude that was massive?
No, that's the dude that was massive because he played for the All Blacks and played for the Wallabies.
Yeah, and the old
Wallabies played for Australia.
Looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. You know that dude? Is that the one?
No, that's why I laughed. I was like, his name's Dane Carlo, and I thought you were calling him Jane Carlo because you think he's a bitch. But
but that was that dude, bro. That dude. I can't remember his name though, but he played. I'm pretty sure he played for the Broncos and maybe the Warriors.
He's honestly probably one of the most underrated players too. Because he played for the All Blacks, for the Broncos. He's honestly one of the only players in history that played and won premierships for pretty much everything he played. Like he played for the Maroons too. Fuck, man, that's gonna get me.
Bro. Dane Carlo is the one that everybody said he looks like Tarzan but plays like Jane.
Oh, well, it could be Jane Carlo, but no, the other guy that I'm thinking about on the top of my head, bro. Because yeah, Dane Carlo, I'm pretty sure played for the Warriors as well from memory.
Oh, fuck it. He was like the original pretty boy, bro. He was the original Jordan Ricky.
I must be the original Jordan Ricky.
Oh, right, that name's
going to come to me.
He's straight pretty boy, but he played like a bitch.
I know. I just saw him up there too. Who am I thinking of with the Warriors? It might be a Maguire boy. I'm not too sure. We had one. Did we have Casey Maguire at one stage? I'm not too sure. We had one of the pieces back in the day with the Warriors, but the guy that I'm thinking about right now, I'm trying to think of. Guys, let me know in the chat. It was, around this same sort of period. He came through with the Broncos with like Seven Receiver and all those boys, played for the Maroons, also played for the All Blacks. Is like, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name because he's actually one of the most underrated players like ever. Was it
Get out of here with your Olympic basketball, Ned.
A good night and bring on the football, we reckon. Here it is. Here it is. But yeah, bro, with your game, yeah, you're holding a close match up here with the Dragons.
Yeah, bro, and I'll be messaging Ned straight away, letting him know what happened in case he comes an hour and a half late again.
Brad Thorne, Kurt Fleming, that's the guy. That is him. I can't believe I forgot them. I forgot Brad Thorne. I can't believe that. Do you remember Brad Thorne?
I do, bro. I do.
Bro, like, legit a guy that played for the All Blacks and also played for Australian Rugby League. He's won for the All Blacks, one for Australia, one for the Broncos, one for Queensland. Like, he's done it all, bro. Like, crazy story.
I can't believe you mixed him up with Dane Carlaw, bro.
I can't believe that. Oh, we're nearly at the end, guys. We're nearly at the end. All right, so definitely the most important game of the weekend, guys. We got the Warriors versus the Dolphins at Suncorp Stadium. As I keep repeating myself, we will be going to this game, guys. So if you are turning out to this game, come say hello. The only outs here for the Dolphins, we got Joshy Kerr, and the Warriors. Obviously, we got Roger Tuivasa-Sheck returning in that center position. So that's an interesting move back to center. Ed Gossie comes to the wing. Dylan Walker's been named at 13, but will not play from my knowledge this weekend. He failed at HIA. I heard a story that maybe we're going to go for an exemption there, but I don't think we're silly enough to even try that. So I would say that Dimitri Sifakula will probably find his way back onto the bench here. Who do you reckon in this matchup, my bro? Just go in solid. It's going to be a tough game for us, bro.
Look, I'm going to go with the Wars just on the fact that they love to play at Suncorp, and surely Shaunie's retirement announcement will bring a big game out of him. So chuck Shawnee on to score anytime. Wars 1-12.
Yeah, I always got to back the boys. So, I'm going to be sipping the Warriors 1-12, but I think this is honestly like it's going to be a real close one. And like I can understand 100% like a lot of people going the way of the Dolphins. So we just got to shut down on the hammer. Shut down those key pieces. Isaiah Katola's got a really good kicking game behind him. But yeah, we need Shawnee to turn up. We need the boys to turn up around Shawnee as well. Jazzy, I thought Dylan Walker's was mainly a throat thing. So a lot of things that were going around, bro. Saw an NRL physio. He actually failed his HIA. So that's what the news I heard coming out. But if it's not, then maybe it's a throat injury. I haven't seen that.
If he randomly plays now, Jazzy, it's definitely a throat injury due to the fact he's got off his COVID knock, all right? Anything for the boys.
Anything for the boys. But up the Wars this weekend, baby. We'll be supporting that live. I'll do anything for the boys there. And last game of the weekend, brother, we got the Knights versus the West Tigers at Newcastle. Not too many outs here again, but Justin Olam's a big out for the Tigers. Obviously, last week getting suspended due to that send-off. What were your thoughts on that? Did you get to see that?
Yeah, I did. Look, I thought fair enough. Send off, but where's the consistency? Straight away in the Panthers game with Isaac Tago, I think it was. Where's the consistency? He did the exact same thing, and it wasn't even a sin bin. So like no consistency, typical refereeing. It's the story of the fucking year. So
yeah, it's definitely one of those ones, my bro. Yeah, again, as not too many changes here to the lineup, you're probably going to sway the way the Knights. Does this kickstart maybe the Knights run to the top 8, you reckon, here? Or do you reckon,
look, I think the Knights will win, but I don't think it'll be that convincing, and I don't think it's going to kickstart their run home or anything like that. But I'm going to go with the Knights.
All right, cool, my man. And any last bets for this weekend, my brother? Oh, for me, I'm going to go to Knights in that one as well, just to jot that down. But any last bets for this weekend, my bro?
Yeah. My perfect round multi that I'm going for in every game is so this one, it's good odds, so chuck $1 on it. I got Melbourne minus 11.5. The Titans 1-12. Jerome Luai anytime try scorer. Canberra Manly game to be anyone to win 1-12. North Queensland Broncos game, anybody to win 1-12. Doggies Dragons game, anyone to win 1-12. Jack Bostock anytime try scorer, and Kalen Ponga anytime try scorer, and it's $195 to the dollar. Chuck $1 on it.
Get on it, guys. Get on it if you want to win some money for the weekend. Hopefully we get up this weekend and win a little bit of money on that one, my brother. But any last things before you jet off here? We are definitely due, man. We are definitely due. We've given you some value too, guys. You can't really complain. A couple of weeks ago, we gave you a nice little win, but hopefully we get another one for you this weekend. Yeah, get on it now. Get on it now. All right, my bro. Anything else before we jet off, my bro?
Nah, bro, that is all for me.
All right, my guys, enjoy your weekend. Hopefully the Warriors get up. Hopefully the Doggies get up and we come back a really happy podcast next Wednesday, guys. Make sure you tune in to Wise Up TV. I'm pretty sure Levon will be doing a watch along and a full credit to the boys, guys. So do make sure you tune in that on Wise Up TV. But yeah, guys, enjoy your weekend. Up the Warriors. Come see us at Suncorp Stadium. Come say hello. Up the Warriors. All right, guys. Have a good night.